You show up, you bully the kids in love for a couple hours, they love you for it, and then you go home. I think that only lasts for a little while. Probably until, I don't know. I'll probably still do it until she's in her 20s. I'm like...
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and s2e11.
That's me, s2e11. I almost said that's me, Hoppocalypse.
That would have been confusing for people.
Yeah. Only on the audio. And over the video, we have our names underneath us. Hello, name.
But yeah, we are here again. Do you have a fun fact that fits in with this episode? Or
fun fact, I liked the episode.
I feel like... Oh, I don't think last week we said this was a episode that stood out to us. I do like this episode too. I didn't realize this one was this early in season 2.
I feel like we say that with every episode.
With every major lore event. We're like, oh, I thought this was in like the last 5 episodes of the show.
Or I thought this was happening earlier. Here, let me get this fact out of the way so that way I'm not totally ruining any form of skin ruining that I have by the sun. Grunkle Stan was inspired by Alex Hirsch's grandfather, who is also named Stan. According to Alex Hirsch, the main relationship of the show is 100% his. I missed the quotes. So this is Alex Hirsch saying this. The main relationship of the show is 100% mine from my own childhood. And their Uncle Stan is very much inspired by my grandpa Stan. Who was a guy that told us tall tales and would frequently mess with us to get a rise out of it. So, my family really inspired the characters on this show. End quote.
Oh, yeah, because he's also got the sister. And I guess that does kind of fit with this episode, because this episode is very Grunkle Stan focused.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been in a couple episodes. And this is his,
he's been building up.
Yeah, is time to shine the right thing to say? Because I don't know if he's shining in a good light, but he is shining.
Now I just thought of the Moana. Shiny! Oh my goodness. So sorry, I responded to a tweet and then I got all the notifications. What was it? Yeah, I don't know. He's finally able to be free. It's interesting because it's like in this episode we see like a side of Stan where I'm assuming on the off-camera side like we see a little bit of it, but it's like I don't know. We can get into it when we get to the episode.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoiler warning. There will be spoilers. Guess what characters show up in this episode? Wow. Let's date this episode because we're a good chunk of the way. Because I just uploaded everything.
Oh, and scheduled it out.
Yeah, how far ahead are we? So, last week's episode comes out on the 24th. So this will be the 31st, this episode.
We're ruining the timeline.
I'm okay with that. Because I'm going to ruin the timeline even more of... So, you seen that Threads?
I didn't start one. Someone pointed out to me how much data that they're taking from it, and I guess on one hand, it's nice of them to be upfront, but it's also a lot of data. And 2, someone revealed that if you want to get rid of your Threads account, you have to delete your Instagram. So I'm happy I didn't click that button.
Yeah, I clicked it because I'm just like, what is this all about? Because me and a bunch of people were talking about it. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I already have Instagram on my phone, so it's like they're already pulling a butt ton of data through that, I bet. So I'm just like, let's just look. And I'm like, okay. And it definitely had that like new smell feel. And like as I was like scrolling through this, I'm just like, everyone on here is so happy to be here. I remember when everyone was like, what the heck, Meta, like, how dare you? And I was like, man, did that change fast with a couple of well-timed promotions and someone being a big dummy. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna delete it off my phone. It's like,
You at least have your username so no one can. I know the big thing that they tell people to do is like take your username if you make content online, to take your username so people can't impersonate you. But
I never really cared. So, I was just more curious, and I'm like, I scrolled through it, and I'm like, it's okay, but I'm like, okay, it's Twitter Lite.
okay.
What it really feels like, when when Facebook got the update where posts didn't come in chronological order anymore. So it feels like they took that version of the feed off of Facebook and then just got rid of all the extra things. And they're like, there's threads.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe at this point there's new news on it and people love it or hate it more. But
yeah.
In the current timeline that this is being recorded,
I'll
fresh.
say the date right now, so that way when people listen to this episode and it turns out that it was the worst thing possible, they know, okay, this is Payne talking on the 9th of July. Okay? It's the 9th of July. When this comes out at the end of July and we find out that now everyone somehow is, well, we're all owned by corporations somehow.
Capitalism, baby.
What's the line? If you're not paying for it, you're the product.
Cog in the machine.
Mm-hmm. So, gotta get that serotonin. I think that's the right one. Whatever. So, I don't know. It's okay.
You're not convinced. That's fine.
There's a few things that I liked about it, but it's just like, I don't like how there's no, like, I can't see the people who I follow without being bombarded by corporations and business accounts or check mark people.
So it's not that different than Twitter.
Yeah, except like all the people that are moving from Twitter is like, the right wingers aren't here. Let's get rid of them. And I'm like, that's not healthy. Like, there's gotta be a meet in the middle. Like, I understand who they're talking about, like the crazies, but every side has a crazy, and it's just like, we gotta meet in the middle. We can't just keep telling a whole bunch of people to shut up.
Yeah, but when propaganda is strong and people are falling for it, it makes it hard to talk to that particular other group.
Yeah, and the fun thing is both sides say the same thing about the other, and I'm like, this is why I don't watch the news.
Yeah, but I just mean, Yellowface is a good example about what particular group that I think needs to, they call everybody else sheeple, and it's like, but you guys, okay.
For other context, Hop just finished Yellowface, and
yes, I did. 5 stars. Highly recommend.
Yes, y'all should read it, or else.
And if you don't like it, call that a personal call out.
Yeah.
No, it's fine if you're not into the writing style and you find it hard to read about that character. But if you go, I don't understand why everyone says they hate this character, then that's your personal call out.
Except Hop. Hop said she really connects with June song. This is the last episode of Pointless Discourse.
If you watch the video version, not only just seeing my face, but also just seeing what I look like.
I didn't look at your camera. I just stared right
I'm just saying
into
not.
mine. I didn't see your reactions. So.
I'm saying not even my reaction. Just seeing that I am not white would make you. It's enough for you to go, oh, Payne's a liar. A stinky poopy liar.
I don't need a camera proof for people to say that.
You're just a stinky poopy liar all the time.
Yeah. That's what my niece tells me.
Oh shoot! Did I quote her? Should I give her credit?
I remembered the other thing I wanted to get off of Amazon Prime.
A gift for her?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, should I tell her we're co-authors? I'm not trying to plagiarize your niece's work.
Look, I don't think you want to co-write my stuff.
I was just saying, on the subject of Yellowface, I'm not trying to plagiarize your niece, calling you a stinky poopy liar.
Okay. I got you.
There's the joke.
Yeah, so it took me a second. Yeah, she, jokes aside, she's never called me that. She's still in the stage where I am the coolest person. So I'm like,
yeah, enjoy that.
I'm gonna milk that. Like, to this point where this truck driver came on Friday, and it was hot. We don't have air conditioning where I work. And I didn't want to do anything. And then he's like, oh, so how was your 4th of July? And I'm like, it was good. We didn't really do much. But over the weekend, we took the niece to the zoo, and he was like, oh, dude, it's the best. And, like, he's like, I got, like, 9 nieces. I don't know how many he said. And he's like, me and my wife, we spoil them. And then I found out he's, like, the same age as me, but, like, richer. And he's, like, talking about how he spoils them. I was like, so a lot of this stuff, I was like, nah, I could agree. But he's just, like, it was just funny because it was just, like, I don't want to do anything. And then he just talked for 20 minutes about his nieces and all this other stuff. And I'm like, hey, man, uncle life. It's a great life. You just... And I'm pretty sure ant life is pretty cool too, but I'm not an ant. Or aunt, however people want to pronounce it. Where you show up, you bully the kids in love for a couple hours, they love you for it, and then you go home. I think that only lasts for a little while. Probably until, I don't know. I'll probably still do it until she's in her 20s. I'm like, I'm not ready for that thought process now I'm thinking about it. Because when she'll be in her 20s, I'll be in my 50s.
Look, yeah, we don't need to talk about that. Because I was thinking about... So I've got my 2 rabbits, right? I think they're both considered senior rabbits based on how old they are. Although my oldest is like 13. And then the younger one is 5. I think she is 5 or 6. We adopted her, so we don't know her exact age. But I was like, oh, if we get another rabbit after either one of these passes, I'll be 40, basically, by the time that rabbit is considered a senior. Because, like, our oldest, our vet says he's very healthy, all things considered, minus a couple things he's been on medicine on. Mm-hmm. And she's like... She said she has a patient that's 16 that she's, like, taking care of, and she sees that my 13-year-old's in perfect health. And I was like, I'm going to be so old the next time I get a rabbit. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I'd love to get another rabbit, but I don't have, like, the space or really the time to be able to spread all the love amongst them. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we're old.
You can trade one in.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Speaking about pets, I got text messages this week. They're like, hey, I forget the organization. I don't really care if I say the organization.
You're going to dox people?
I'm okay with it. There it is. Because it's actually a good organization in Philadelphia. They, I think they do a lot of, like, pet fostering adoptions. From what I could see from, like, a couple seconds of looking at their website to find out who the heck was texting me. And so it's like, hey, you're next in line at the ACCT Philly. See you soon, Juan. Who the heck is Juan?
And why did they steal your phone number?
Yeah. Like, I wonder if it was, like, a digit off, or... if the 1 was supposed to be in front of it. I don't know. Maybe the area code was different. I don't know what it was. I can't hate too much on someone for putting the wrong phone number down, as I put my old house number down on a resume I sent around and then wondered why for 4 months why I wasn't getting calls. And as this one guy's like, we called and, like, your phone, it says you're
disconnected?
No, the answering machine is full. And I'm like, but I haven't got anything. And that's when I went back and looked. I'm like, hey,
oops,
put down the wrong phone number. Here's my new one. Surprise, surprise, I didn't get the job.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. I think there was other factors, seeing how the job was in Canada, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to worry. Well, I don't know. Maybe I would have to worry about sweat. But anyway,
speaking of sweating, we've got the twins in this episode sweating the whole episode because they're stressed. There's my segue.
Yeah, in short, I didn't follow up with the pet adoption thing because I'm like, stop talking to me. I'm at work. But yes, sweating.
Because they have some revelations this episode.
Yeah.
So you ready to roll dice to see who gets to talk about the episode?
This die. I'm gonna roll this one. That is, well, Hop.
Uh-huh.
How would you like to just sit by and listen since you have a little bit of yawns as I rolled an 18?
Yeah, there's no way I was going to talk about this episode then. I rolled the 7, as you saw, because I share with the video audience
and
to watch it.
And we share it with the audio.
Yes, if you like the video option, it is on YouTube. I took a second because I was like, right, we stopped putting it up on Spotify.
Yeah, it's funny because we went from absolute, like, we had a pretty decent listenership on Spotify, and then it's like, hey, you can do video, it's our new thing, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, let's do that. And so, and it was like immediately after we put it up, it went to no views at all, and we're like, and like I think we did that for like a month or two, and then we're like, yeah,
it could make sense. It probably eats up more data than people really wanted to, or eats up more space if they're trying to download episodes. So I don't blame them.
Oh yeah, no, I don't blame them either. But like the way it was that I was reading it, I think we both read it, and if I thought it was close to like both. Like uploading the video would still upload an audio version, and after we did that, I don't see any evidence of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, it's a little bit too late to, well, I guess I could download the video episodes and then re-upload them as audio, but
that's fine.
More work for me. Okay, just yeah. Okay. So anyway, this episode's a humdinger. I guess that's a word people say, right? I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyway, I also noticed whenever I got to talk about these episodes, I think the episodes go over an hour. I think every time. And then when you talk, you're very close to just shy or under, just an hour or slightly under, while mine are always like 10 minutes over an hour. So let's see. Can I go into speed mode? Oh no. So yeah, this episode opens up. We see Stan. He's like, "Yep, good job." He's like looking at the machine that he's been working on. I realized I'd started talking like in my super fast explanation, DM, GM, keeper, referee, whatever system you want to use voice. This is like, here's all the information. Now roll dice. Yeah, so pretty much we see it's late at night at Gravity Falls, to where we have Stan in the underground lab working on the machine. I don't think at this point, because there's a word in the transcript about what this device is, but I don't think we are told what this item is.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so so anyway, he's doing that, and he pulls a lever, and like and things start working as he's like getting excited. He's like, "Come on, we should finish the job." As he kind of wipes his forehead as it sizzles on his forehead. Nope, can't be too careful with this stuff. And then pretty much a light, like pretty much an alarm goes off, and he looks and smiles, looks at the screen as it says "Event initialized," as an 18-hour countdown begins. And it shows that he's reading from the journal, and he's like, "Warning, yeah, blah blah blah. Extreme usage could result in minor gravity anomalies." And he's like, "Whatever, point Dexter." And he's like, "Come this far, I'm not giving up now." And he hits the button, as we see his fez begin to float off his head. And then we kind of get a big view of Gravity Falls as rocks and gompers begins to float off the ground. We see a boat pretty much fly out of the lake. We see this in the scrapyard, like the cars and pretty much all the junk in there. As we cut to inside of McGucket, who's passed out at the repaired laptop.
He still has his McSucket graffiti on his.
Well, he did admit it was a good one. But pretty much the laptop is now working, as it reads active under the image that's on the screen. And then it goes back to, as we see back to the shack, as we see Dipper, Mabel, and Waddles kind of float off their beds and then fall down, everything falls back down into place without really waking anybody. To where Stan pretty much says, okay, it's going to be a bumpy ride, but it'll be well worth it, as he synchronizes his wristwatch, and he's like, just 18 more hours, as the journal blows shut, and we get the shortened theme song.
Very short. Yes.
And so I think the shortened theme songs always happen when it's like, we got a lot to fit in here. We need that extra 30 seconds. So anyway, pretty much Mabel and Dipper. Mabel's dragging a groggy Dipper down the hallway, and she's like, come on, I was touching it, he's like, I was just opening random doors because I'm a creep. When I found something amazing, he's like, this better be worth it to wake up at 7 a.m. Dipper, I relate. Every time I got to go to work, except I had to wake up 30 minutes ago to get to work on time. So anyway, they open it up as it reveals a closet full of fireworks. Oh man, there was some funny ones. I don't see the names.
There's police something, like things about annoying cops and like annoying neighbors and being illegal.
I think one was like like the finger remover or something like it. Oh, that reminded me, I did watch a movie this weekend. The finger remover reminded me of the movie I watched.
Were fingers removed?
Yeah. You ever watch Guns Akimbo?
Well, more than just fingers.
Yes. Yeah, I watched that, and I'm like, you know what? Never watched Harry Potter, but this is fun.
I like Daniel Radcliffe as an actor.
I think
he has fun with it.
I think this is the first movie I've ever seen him in.
I want to watch Swiss Army Man. Army Man. I haven't watched that one yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I read something, and I agree with it. He's like, Daniel Radcliffe was freed from Harry Potter, and now he just does nonsense movies because he can.
He has the money.
Yeah, and it brings a ton of attention. Anyway, so where was I? So yeah, pretty much they're like, oh my goodness, and they're like, oh, we gotta set all these fireworks. And they're like, crazy rooftop firework party. As Stan's like, not so fast. There's no way on earth I'm letting you setting off those dangerous illegal fireworks without me. And then it cuts to the roof as they're all like drinking pit, shooting fireworks off of the lawn chair, and Stan's like hands Mabel it says the skyrocket with the
it's massive.
Yeah, pretty much this giant rocket, and he's like, set something on fire for your Grunkle Stan. As Mabel aiming, it says, I am the god of destruction, as it shoots off. As Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Derlin show up, and they're like, hold up a minute, you got a permit for those? And they're like, do you have a permit for being totally lame? As they start laughing. And Bubs is like, well, we can't argue with that. Carry on. just leave. And then they're like, man, we should probably clean this mess up, as like it kind of shows like everything's on fire and kind of destroyed. Not everything is on small little fires spread around the place. And it's like, we should probably clean this up. As Mabel's like, with the water balloons? And they're like, yeah, I see why not. And it cuts to pretty much Stan sitting on the couch as everyone is throwing water balloon. Well, Dipper throws one, and it goes like half a foot and lands in front of him. Doesn't break. He's like, seriously? And they're all having fun to eventually when everyone's throwing water balloons back at each other. As they're like, they start running up to Grunkle Stan, and he gives a line which is foreshadowing for future events, not in this episode. Where he's like, it's unnatural for siblings to get along as well as you do. And they're like, well, we still got plenty of summer to drive each other crazy. And yeah, so that's when Stan's like, yeah, plenty of summer left. As like his whole demeanor changes. Like, this was like a weird demeanor for Stan already. Like, he's happy, having fun with the kids and everything, which at least in the aired episodes, we don't see that too often. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of gets all nervous, and he's like, well, there's something I want to tell you guys, and then loses his nerve as he runs the refresh. Like, he's like, I need to refresh my soda. As he's like, enjoy while you last, Stan. They'll find out sooner or later. He's like, today is the day. As this red dot appears on his fez, he's like, is that a ladybug? And then more dots appear, and he's like, what the? Oh no, as it just shows, as we cut to Grunkle Stan getting pinned down by a bunch of masked agents. And Agent Trigger shows up, and they're like, everyone's like, take the house, and pretty much Maple and Dipper are very confused by what's happening, and they're like, wait a second, as an agent comes up and screams on the walkie-talkie, skids are secure. Kids are secure. Roof team, go, as like they rappel out of a helicopter and crash into the attic, breaking a certain shaped stained glass window. They're like, clear, as another one shoots through the gift shop wielding a bat, and yeah, like pretty much they break through all the windows using a room. They're like, clear, and then another one breaks through Dipper and Mabel's window, rolling on the ground, grabbing Waddles, which is a gift that I realize I see a whole bunch, as Waddles just starts squealing, and pig secure. We said secure the pig. So anyway, all this is going on as Dipper's like, wait a second, the government guys? I thought you guys were eaten by zombies. And they're like, we survived. Barely. I used Trigger as a human shield, and he cried like a baby. What? Hey, not in front of the special ops guys. So anyway, they go back and forth, and they're like, hey, we have footage of your uncle stealing toxic waste. And pretty much Stan's like, so you think, pretty much Stan's fully denies it. Like, you think that was me? And they're like, dude, we know it's you, don't play dumb. And his response is like, but I actually am dumb. Last night I was up restocking the gift shop, I swear. And Mabel's just like, yeah, he might shoplift an occasional tangerine, but he's not some supervillain. And so anyway, they kind of go back and forth a little bit as Powers is like, dude, we've been watching your family all summer. You've been doing some weird things, like, and we believe that your uncle is hiding a doomsday weapon somewhere on here. And they're like, Trigger, you take the weapon. You take the children. I'll talk to the old man. And as Powers, the last thing he says, sorry to break it to you, as he puts his sunglasses, like, you don't know your uncle at all. And they snap their fingers as another agent comes up and takes Mabel's icy pop that she had and says, icy pop clear, before taking a lick. And I don't know if he puts it in there. So anyway, they split everyone up, and they're all kind of getting away. Stan's like, dude, you gotta believe me, as the car drives off, and we just see the mystery shack as Wendy's just like heading to work, and then just we see all the agents like breaking down the door and getting into the mystery shack. And she's like, or maybe not, and just leaves. So yeah. Lots of stuff happening. So anyway, after that, we cut to the Gravity Falls police station, where it shows Stan kind of getting his mugshot, prints taken, and sitting in front of like a bulletin board with all the strings like spread across to be like, this is what he's doing. And they're like, okay, Stanford Pines, you're accused of theft of government waste, conspiracy, possession of illegal weapons. How do you plead to these charges? And he's like, guilticent. I mean, innocent guilty. Can I have my phone call? And so who does he call in this time of greatest need? Why, we see Seuss. We see Seuss in a fast food restaurant, which I believe is the first time we've seen this, to my knowledge, called Yumberjacks. Where his order is, give me whatever you got that comes with a free toy. As on a walkie-talkie, he calls Seuss, and they're like, dude, what's happening? Some sort of possession situation? And Stan's like, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, he thinks the speaker box is talking to him. That's what's
the drive-through.
Yeah, the drive-through.
Lumberjack.
Yeah. It's like, oh my goodness, is this a possession situation? Like, as he's touching like the lumberjack order box, and Stan's like, just pick up the dang walkie-talkie, pretty much. And so they go back and forth, and he's like, dude, Mr. Pines, I heard like what was happening, and like I heard you got arrested, and so I had to get some panic food, you know. And that's where Stan tells him, like, look, whatever you do, I need you to guard the vending machine in the gift shop with your life. And as pretty much the walkie-talkie kind of cuts out, as Seuss is like, it's time for a repair guy, as he adjusts his hat to be like backwards to become a repairman, as Hop is going to do a video representation. It fits over your headphones.
Yeah, it totally fits over my headphones. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, as he does that, as the drive-thru employee is like, here's your junior yum yum baby kiddo, sir, your junior yum yum baby time kiddo meal. And he's like, just put one in my mouth, which I don't understand. What does that mean? Put the whole meal in his mouth? But he gets a fry, and he just blasts through. Stop yawning.
You don't know what I'm up to. You said you're not looking at my camera.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, so I don't think this was recorded. Hop has the Chipotle's.
Yes, I ate a late lunch, and now the thunderstorms are coming back, so now it looks like it's like 8 p.m.
Yeah, I'm like slowly looking out the window, and I don't hear rain. So I don't gotta worry. So anyway, Seuss does some property damage as he goes to fulfill Stan's quest. To where we're now in a car with Mabel and Dipper and Agent Trigger, as they begin to ask him a whole bunch of different questions. We're like, we're going to be taking to child services. Mabel's like, boo to that. And he's like, in the meantime, enjoy some mindless reality TV designed to pacify you, to stop making you ask questions. As the surgeon's like, I'm about to make the insertion, and kerprank, as Justin Kerprank jumps out of a potted plant. And so anyway, as they're watching this, Mabel like kind of turns over to Dipper and is like, dude, this is crazy. There's no way Stan would steal this. We got to clear his name. To where they see a security camera inside the car, and they're like, hey, Stan said he was restocking the gift shop last night, so we can go to the surveillance tapes and we can prove that he's innocent. And so Mabel's like, oh, we just got to get away out of here. Think, Mabel. As they come up next to a logging truck that is driven by Manly Dan, and she notices that there's a several times bumper sticker on the back. As she knocks on the window to get Dan's attention, which I don't know how loud she was knocking, because we hear that in Dan's semi-truck. Those things are loud. As she kind of fogs up the window and writes several times is overrated, the Manly Dan does the most logical thing of, no, and curves it and turns his car right into the government vehicle, running it off the road. His triggers scream, "Mayday, mayday, agent down!" as he gets stuck between a tree branch and the car, and he can't get free. As the twins and they begin to leave before destroying Trigger's earpiece. As Trigger's like, "Dude, you think your uncle's been innocent? I've seen it all before. False names, double lies. 1 minute they're playing with water balloons, and the next day they're building a doomsday device." And it's like, how many? This sounds very personal. But anyway, Dipper kind of hesitates a second. And like, "You don't know what you're talking about." And Trigger's like, "You're gonna regret this," as the airbag inflates and knocks him out or something, as it just sets off the car horn. So anyway, they sneak into the mystery shack, which it's kind of funny. They just pretty much walk right in without being noticed. And so as they're...
No, don't they do the...
They get into the car.
Yeah, they don't get into the mystery shack yet, because there's the whole...
They're headed to it. Yeah, they're headed to it.
Yeah. Because they have a perfect timing thing that also works out with Seuss's timing. That only happens after this bit.
Mm-hmm. So Stan, we go back to Stan, who's in the interrogation room. Yeah, so pretty much Mabel and Dipper, they sneakily, very movie-esque, get onto a moving car and are heading to the mystery shack. Where you go to Stan, who looks at his watch and sees that there's 5 more hours, and he's like, okay, there's got to be a way out of it. And then his watch begins to beep as it says anomaly in process, as the coffee begins to float out of the cup along with like a bunch of other items before crashing back down. And he's like, they're getting stronger, that's it. As we kind of go to the center of town and we kind of see the effects. I guess it's a little bit later. I don't know. It's not very clear if this is later or what happened at the same time, as cars and objects and some people begin to float off the ground. As Tyler Cute Bikers just said, maybe the entire world just hiccup. And it's like, I just think it's a baby-sized earthquake. And Tyler's total rational response, oh, baby-sized. As
he squishes his face.
Mm-hmm. So then we go back to the view of the... it says cut to the view of the laptop, which shows...
McGucket.
Oh, okay, there we go, yeah. I was like, I don't know. And he poops. We're back to McGucket. He's freaking out. He's like, end time. Just the machine is active. We gotta get out of town. As he starts shoving a raccoon into a bag. He's like, get in there, raccoon wife. Get.
Keeps biting at him and running.
Yeah, and then runs off as a helicopter flies overhead, and we're back at the mystery shack, where Dipper and Mabel are hiding in a bush, and pretty much Mabel's like, here's the plan, and just goes into this whole like, we're gonna take out those 2 guys and karate chop this and all this times like Mabel, or we could just forget the simpler solution, to where we see 2 agents like, is this a rock or a face? And the other one's like, I think it's a metaphor. As the grappling hook makes another appearance as it shoots.
Grappling hook.
Yep. Shoots overhead as they kind of sneak through out of sight. They dash down the stairs pretty much without getting anyone's attention, and then lock themselves in Stan's office. And they're like, okay, if I was Stan, where would I hide all these surveillance tapes? And they begin looking all over the place, to where Mabel looks at the jackalope, and he's like, an antilabbit. And he's like, do you mean the jackalope? And she's like, that can't be right. Where she has to push up the antler, which I feel I wouldn't be surprised if it's a callback later in the wiki to Mabel's gift of solving weird puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, she does that as it reveal, like, the wall opens up and it shows like a TV monitor and tape player. They find the tape with it in there, as it shows a quick scene of Wendy, Seuss, and Mabel in the Mystery Shack where Seuss is doing the worm dance, and they're all like, go, go, go. To Mabel, like, looks at Dip and he's like, someone yelled wormy dance, so we had to. When they fast forward and they see Stan's restocking the store. And it's like, there we go, he's innocent. And it says it's at 7 p.m. And then they go forward an hour. At 7 p.m. Stan sneaks out of the shop. And Dipper's like, no, as he's not back at 8. And they keep
zooming forward.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to the bathroom outdoors, the way nature intended. They keep going forward, and they're at 5. It's 5 a.m. as this person in a hazmat suit is wheeling barrels of radioactive waste into the gift shop. And Dipper's like, oh no, Stan, you didn't. It was like, hey, there could be anybody in the suit. As a barrel gets dropped on his foot, and he's like, God, hot Belgian waffles. Wait, I'm alone. I can swear for real. And he's like, son of a... And the tape shuts off. And Dipper's like, yeah, that's him. And so Mabel's like, but no, that doesn't mean he's living this nefarious double life. As Dipper finds this box hidden underneath with all these fake IDs and passports. And they're kind of looking through them all. There's one Stetton Pinefield, another one that says Hal Forrester, Andrew 8-Ball Alcatraz, a whole bunch, and they're like, dude, you wouldn't need all these fake IDs if you unless you were trying to hide your identity. And then that's when they see a newspaper article where it says Stan Pines is dead, and Dipper's like, wait, he's dead? Who is? Like, is the clipping was like, foul play suspecting the Pines' death, fiery car crash, brakes cut by who? And then they pick up another article that's in there. It says unnamed grifter at large. And they're like, why would they call them unnamed? Unless Stan isn't Stan, as they look up to a giant portrait of Grunkle Stan. And the countdown clock now is at 16 minutes throughout all this. As Dipper's like, Stan's dead. Stan Pines is dead. And he's like, who we've been living with. And Mabel's like, there's got to be an explanation. Like, maybe we're about to be pranks. And she's like, come out. Come out of the pot, please. And so pretty much Dipper's like, dude, I've been looking for the answer. The biggest mystery is like right under our nose. As they kind of dig through, Mabel's like, there has to be an explanation. She finds a piece of paper that says secret code to the hideout. And like after looking through journal 3, he's like, nothing is really lining up with this. As Mabel's like, wait, Mabel realizes it's for the vending machine. So anyway, we go back to Stan, who is still in the interrogation room, where he sees there's a watch that's 13 minutes. And Powers enters with 2 other agents. Like, okay, playtime's over. Chopper's ready to dust off to Washington. I'll enjoy putting you away. And Stan's like, can we wait for one more minute? Minute 30 seconds? And Powers like, no. You've been running your whole life. It's not. Come on. He's like, bathroom break? Just 15 seconds? As it says he unlocks Stan's handcuffs. I think that's when he just kind of unlocks him from the table or the chair, and then kind of, because he's still handcuffed. Mm-hmm. And he's like, look, you got a flight to catch. And Stan's watch begins to beam. He's like, yeah, so do you. As everything begins to start floating in the air, as Stan is pretty much like an action hero, as like he hits Powers, gets the keys, unlocks himself, and begins to float all around. And they're like, no, you get back here, before like
walking on people.
Yeah, he walks on people, takes the wallet from one of the agents and just sticks it in his pocket, and slams the door in everyone's face as gravity returns.
And he's locked it too.
Yeah, locks the door. As behind him, Derland and Blubs fall out of the room as they're swinging the bat at a piñata. And Blubs like, gonna get you. So anyway, They all fall. As gravity returns, Stan runs out, goes up to a taxi driver. He's like, "Do you know where the mystery shack is?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Here's $100. Drive as far as away from the shack and don't stop while the cops start chasing you." And he's like, "Okay," and starts peeling off as Power sees the taxi. And he's like, "Follow!" And it's like he's getting away. Obviously, follow that cab. As it shows all the agents chasing after the cab. As pretty much it starts calling, and all the special agents start leaving the mystery shack. As that happens, we see that Dipper, s2e, and Mabel all kind of meet at the same time in the vending machine, well, in the gift shop. And Mabel and Dipper are like, "We need to get in there." As s2e is like, "Dude, I have a mission to protect this machine." And it's like, "Here, I thought I love snacks." And and they're like, "s2e, just let us through." And s2e's like, "No, you can't do that." And they're like, "Okay, fine. Didn't want to do this." As Mabel blows a handful of glitter directly into s2e's face. And doesn't he say attack glitter or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, s2e calls it attack glitter. It's pretty, but it hurts. As they begin to jump on s2e, and as they're like starting to fight, and it's like, and s2e just not even moved. He's just like, "Come on, guys! Like, I don't want to fight you guys. This hurts me more than it hurts you." As he's getting kicked in the face by Mabel, and he's like, "Seriously, it hurts me way more than it hurts you." So anyway, Dipper kind of reaches over him and puts in the code. As the door to the vending machine opens up, revealing the staircase, as they all kind of just stop fighting each other, and they're just like, "What the heck?" And he's like, "I don't understand." And they go down, and they kind of see the computer and everything. Like, they're all confused as Dipper spots the other two journals, and he's like, "Why does Stan have them?" And he's like, wait, I'm just making sure because I'm kind of not skipping, but I'm generalizing. Well, anyway, he's just like, he kicks the desk as he's all angry. He's like, "Why wouldn't have those journals?" And Sue's like, "Maybe he's the author?" Or differently, maybe he stole them from the author, and he's like, and that's the reason why he's the fake IDs. He's the master criminal, and he's like, "This machine's part of his master plan." As he magically opens up all the journals to the big blueprint.
The big shape.
Yeah. The big triangle with the orbs. So anyway, they turn on the black light and they start seeing that there's things written here. Where it says, "It's wrong the whole time. The machine was meant to create knowledge, but it's too powerful. I was deceived, and now it's too late. The device, if fully operational, could tear a hole in our universe. Could tear our universe apart. It must not fall into the wrong hands. If the clock ever reaches 0, our universe is doomed." And
then I think there's the little drawing. Oh, my camera.
There we go.
I don't know how long that was out of focus. Yeah, and then there's the drawing of the world being split in half.
Yeah. Oopsie. As they all look up and see the countdown clock, and this line cracked me up. "It's the final countdown, just like the one we always sung about." So anyway, Dipper kind of flips through, finds the manual override, and he's like, "Dude, the agents were right. We gotta go shut it down." And they run over and they turn the switches, and they run over to hit the button as Stan appears in the doorway. Like, "Don't touch that button!" And it's like, "Dude, you guys gotta trust me." And like, Dipper's like, "Why should we trust you? You've been lying to us this whole time, this whole summer. We don't even know who you are." And Stan's like, "Look, this all seems nuts, but the machine has to stay on. Just let me explain." As his wrist, his watch starts to beep again. And he's like, "Oh no, brace yourself," as gravity goes in reverse, as they all start, as everything pretty much starts lifting up. Like, over town, we see cars and other machines. We see the, what is it, the water tower top begin to lift off. But anyway, Powers starts freaking out as his car begins to fly in the air. Lazy Susan lifts off her feet in a store. Bud, gleeful, grabs onto one of his cars as customers float in the air behind him. As the sky begins to darken and the sun turns red over Gravity Falls, as we got 35 seconds left on the countdown. As excuse me, pretty much this. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so pretty much they all get pushed around from everything, as Dipper is trying.
Mabel's the only one near the button.
Yeah, Mabel gets her foot caught, and so they're all kind of pushed back as Stan is to like kind of get over to them to stop them from pressing the button. As s2e like kind of grabs Stan, and he's like, dude, I gave you an order. What are you doing? As s2e is like, sorry, Mr. Pine, if that's your real name, but I have a new mission now. It's protecting these kids. As Stan's very, very frustrated. As Dipper goes over to help s2e, and he's like, Mabel, press the red button. And Stan's like, very like, the most like emotional we've ever seen him in the series. And he's like, dude, you can't. And they're going back and forth between Stan and Dipper, both calling out at Mabel to do the thing, and pretty much like Stan's like, listen to me, remember this morning when I said I wanted to tell you something? As like in all the confusion, as the computer's like 20 seconds left, as like the Flash pushes everyone but Mabel to the opposite wall as Mabel's getting ready to push the button. He's like, hey, what I wanted to say is you're going to hear some bad things about me, and some of them are true, but trust me, everything I worked for, everything I care about is all for this family. And Dipper's like, he could be lying. He could destroy the universe. And Stan's like, look in the eye, do you think I'm a bad guy? And it's going back and forth as Dipper's like, he's lying. And Mabel's like, I trust you. As Dipper does not agree with that statement, as the machine, as the countdown hits 0, as an explosion of light appears, as everyone starts screaming, and this flash of light engulfs all of Gravity Falls, as we see the picture. Stan had a picture of Mabel and Dipper down in his lab where the glass cracks. We see the unconscious bodies of Dipper and Mabel floating. And then everything kind of smashes down to the ground. The portal is destroyed. Well, I guess now we call it a portal because we know what's going to happen in about 2 seconds. As we got sparks and wires shooting all over the place. As this figure comes out of where the light was. As there was a portal there. As the light fades, showing that it's off. He's dressed like in this trench coat, has goggles and everything. And he sees the first journal kind of on the ground. And the journal, up to this point, I don't even know if we said it, but it's got a 6-fingered hand on there. And we see a 6-fingered hand match the hand on the front of the journal. As he puts it down and he picks it up and puts it in his coat pocket, his Dipper's like, who is that? And Stan's like, the author of the journal, as he pulls his goggles to reveal the face, looking almost identical to Stan, as Stan's like, that's my brother. As Mabel's like, is this the part where one of us faints? As Susan's like, oh, I'm way on it, dudes, and faints. To where the end credits is we see 2 boys about the same age as Mabel and Dipper, just sitting on a swing set on the beach, looking at a sunset. As the cipher message at the end, the original mystery twins. So
good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Is there anything I can add with trivia or revelations?
I don't know.
That was a rhetorical question.
I was answering.
I'm trying to give you a break from talking. You can do this if you'd rather keep talking.
No. We normally let the next person who wasn't talking remind the audience that there's 2 people in this episode.
Yes. So I don't think it's important to remember that Manly Dan is a fan of several times. I think I feel like he was at the concert.
I can't
in the
remember.
audience. Yeah, it's been a while. It is fun to know that Old Man McGucket is married to a raccoon, because we also have the guy married to a woodpecker.
A lot of animal marriage.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's new that Zeus wants to be adopted by Stan. I think it's new that he wants to be Stan Jr., but he kind of talks about how this is his new family and how he wants to be part of it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also brought up in the episode when they go back in time and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yes, we learn of the existence of someone that looks identical to Stan, and that it's confirmed he's the author of the journals, and he's the one with the 6 fingers on his hands. Let's see, series continuity. Yeah, this episode happens right after the previous episode, where the laptop that McGucket showed Dipper during the party was 21 and a half hours, and then Grunkle Stan in the basement sets his timer to 18 hours, so they're directly connected. Just scrolling through things. Skipping past that.
Yep.
Skipping past.
Apparently, Stan's altercation with Wiley Badger and Susan the real girl has been noted by the agents.
Yeah, there appears to just be a lot of references throughout this episode from things that happened earlier in the season. I'm not going to dive into, like, all of these.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I do think is fun to mention is Dipper's birthmark is seen again.
Yes.
His hair gets pushed up while he's pushed up against the wall, and you can see the little Dipper shape on his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it says Old Man McGucket's raccoon wife is likely that raccoon that McGucket mentioned he kissed accidentally in his, quote, personal weird story in Land Before Swine. Oh, I did notice this. Robbie's explosion muffin is on the side of the police station as graffiti. I mentioned that McSucket is still on McGucket's stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Oh, it says that the scene where they're all floating off their beds is in the extended theme song.
Yes.
When it plays the full one.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, the cryptogram in Gideon Rises is kind of alluding to this episode, as the cryptogram from that episode says, the portal, when completed, will open a gateway to infinite new worlds and herald a new era of mankind's understanding of the universe. Plus, it'll probably get girls to start talking to me finally.
Yeah, and it's a nice follow-up with the other cryptogram that they say that Into the Bunker says that improper use of machinery could lead to utter catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think there's much else to really jump in on here.
Well, then who's your favorite character of this episode?
That is a great question, because there's a lot of good characters. Everybody in this has kind of a good moment in it where you get to learn more about them. Because we have, where's the list of characters? Scrolling up, we have ourselves.
Well, we got the twins.
Yeah, the twins. We have Grunkle Stan. We have Seuss. We have Old Man McGucket. We have the government officials, the 2 agents, Triggers and Powers. We've got a little glimpse from Lazy Susan and Tyler Cute Biker. We have the smallest possible appearance. Like, Wendy's in this episode less than her dad.
Yeah. I did see one piece of trivia that, I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but I heard you talk about it, so I can't remember if you enjoyed it or not. But it says the ending of this episode with the whole town being lifted off the ground partially was inspired by the ending of Fooly Cooly.
It's been a long time since I watched Fooly Cooly, but I did like Fooly Cooly. So I didn't catch that reference.
It's okay. I didn't, because I didn't watch it.
But yeah, so then we also have sheriff and deputy in it. I think my favorite character in this might be Agent Trigger, only because he's trying his best and everything keeps going wrong. Mm-hmm. So he's just like, Powers is like, oh, I use him as a human body shield. And Trigger's like, you weren't supposed to tell them. And Trigger's like, all right, I've got the kids to play them a TV show. I've got the easier part of the job. And then he ends up getting run over on the road. And then he's like, guys, please, let me just get backup. And Dipper's like, no, you're not allowed to call for help, and removes his only means of communication. And then the thing goes off in his face. Yeah. Because, like, he's doing what he's gotta. I don't think he's a bad guy. So I think he's fun.
He's doing his best.
Yeah. I do also like Tyler Q. Piker. Aw, baby earthquake.
Yeah. Baby-sized.
What about you? Who would you say is your favorite this episode?
There's a lot that makes me laugh and stuff. A lot of the characters that did make me laugh, but I do think I like Grunkle Stan a lot in this episode because it's like we see a different side of him, and it's like, especially
he's finally vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's like dude, this stuff that he's been working on for years, like without being like noticed.
Yeah, which we learn a lot more about in the coming episodes.
Yeah,
that he's that it's funnier when he's like, no, I actually am dumb, and everyone's like,
yeah, just
I don't think so.
And then it's like, oh, like who he's comparing himself to.
Yeah, but he's also a genius in his own right for having pulled this off for so long. It's a
different,
spoilers.
different style of intelligence.
Yeah.
Who do you feel the most like?
This one's tough. So we have... I don't think I'm as determined and as thought through my planning and willing to do as many illegal things as Grunkle Stan. I don't
Let's unpack
think...
that.
All the evil things he does? I don't think that I'm necessarily as blind to loyalty as s2e is. Because s2e is very much like, I'll do anything it takes for the people I care about. But I'm not to that level. I have my limits. I can only do so much for other people. Dipper is like the pessimist and Mabel's the optimist, right? Because Dipper is like seeing the worst in Grunkle Stan and seeing the worst in the evidence, whereas Mabel is like, maybe he has an explanation. Maybe there's a reason he's doing all this stuff. Again, the agents are just stuck doing their job. They're like, I don't want to be doing this, but like the evidence is out there and we can't deny the evidence. Huh. I think I'm probably Dipper. Not in that I'm always looking to like... I'm looking for evidence that's like against people, but I feel like I'm more of a pessimist than an optimist. So if you presented all this stuff to me, I'd be like, there was something off. I knew there was something off, even if I don't have the full story yet.
Yeah. I know who I am, and before I say that, I just want to say Alex Hirsch was very smart, as he gave himself all the fun voices in the episode. He's
also Bill, too, isn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, he's McGucket.
He's McGucket, s2e. He's the drive-through. Like, he's pretty much like, yeah, he's Bill Cipher. I don't know. He's got some talent there. Mabel. Mainly for the exact reason that you said, where it's just like there has to be a reason, like in wanting to give people probably more chances. Benefit. Yeah, the benefit and probably a little bit more chances than they deserve. But I know I've thought the same things that Mabel has. Just like there has to be something here. So.
And I'm the opposite. I'm the I read something and that leads to this. Oh, bad people. Yeah. Everybody's a bad person. I also noticed that I can see how much darker your apartment has gotten now that we're wrapping up. So yeah, before the storm,
I can see the wind blowing, and I'm like, cool. I don't think it's started raining yet, but I also kind of minimized the window a little bit. So like if I full blow, this is the light from the Google document lighting me up, and I'm like, there we go. Now I have a regular skin tone. Oh, and my headphone's about to die. Fun. So yeah, so next week we'll be doing another episode. We're in the final quarter of these episodes.
The whole series.
The whole series.
Yeah.
And then we get to start the next thing.
You're so excited.
I just
Right.
like starting new things personally. That's just me.
That's always a fun time. But yeah, so before...
Don't worry, I will be tired of it in the middle of it.
Yeah, because when we have to watch things, if we're like, oh, we didn't watch it, we'll be like, all right, see you in 2 hours instead of just...
We should just watch it together. Can we there has to be a way we can share these and just watch them together if we do that.
I don't know if Discord would block it, because some services do block
Some-
Discord.
Yeah. I don't know.
We would just have to do the 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Can you screen share it on Zoom? I wonder if they also block Zoom.
we can find out.
Yeah.
That'd be a very interesting way to record it.
We pause.
Yeah. But then I don't know if I would want, because we have the goal of like hour-long episodes. I don't think I would want to push.
No, it would be a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Like, people do YouTube reactions to movies, but they have to,
Yeah.
chop up.
Which I guess, like, when we were quiet, I don't know. We can talk about this later. We have 1, 2, 3. We got 8 episodes left to figure out what we actually want to do. We also got to find the quiz, the personality quiz of what Gravity Falls character we can take. So I guess we can take that before.
There's an official Disney one. Do you trust them?
As a company, not really, but
It's only Seuss, Mabel, Stan, Dipper, and Wendy.
oh, they don't have the good ones. I don't know. It depends on how long. I don't know. We can figure it out. It seems like maybe there's another one where it has all the characters. Look, I'm just trying to build my hope to getting Bill Cipher, the true hero of this show. Oh my goodness, multiple links just showed up. Okay, well, my headphones are dying, and I don't know if it's going to start pouring soon. So, is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
Thanks for listening and or watching. Leave likes, comments, reviews, ratings, share it with other people. Always appreciate you guys.
I'm so tempted to be like, cut out what you say as soon as you say, leave. I did that for one of the openings, and you weren't a fan of that. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. See you next week. Till next time. Bye-bye.